Hey guys, I'm EJ and this is Shamari here. And here we're doing a video today talking about superheroes that we believe should be headlining their own solo video games. On Shamari, we've seen the success of a game like Spider-Man PS4 from Insomniac. We've seen the success of obviously the ARKHAM series by Rocksteady and Warner Brothers Montreal video games. So we want to try to think about who are the next characters that could be in line or should be in line to have those kind of open world extended storyline type of games. You know, there's been a lot of intrigue by the idea of maybe doing a game with other characters. You know, there was for a long time the questions of what this Warner Brothers project was. Now we're hearing probably something involving Batman, but people want to know, like, is there a possibility we can get something else? What else would work in these kind of video games?
Right. And you know, I think you're right that, you know, this is something that people are talking about now.
Yeah.
You know, because we've had Batman be so successful, and now we've had Spider-Man be so successful. Now, I mean, we also have this Avengers project that has been talked about, and I think that is one that I think would be extremely successful, having an Avengers video game. I also think that I personally think that the Fantastic Four or something, that I think that is a superhero team that I think could be extremely successful, not only from an action perspective, but from a storytelling perspective.
Right.
Because I think those are stories that people may not be as familiar with, even though we've had several Fantastic Four movies come out. I think telling it from a video game perspective can make people appreciate the story a little more. Because you can do more with it, and it doesn't have to be like, how good is the CGI? You know,
right?
You can have the focus just be on the characters and the story, and the action, of course. So I think that's one group. I would like to say Daredevil, but he's blind, so it's kind of hard to tell a first-person perspective type story from the perspective of someone that's blind. I mean, So I don't know. It would just be. I mean, you could do it, but it's hard to.
Either you have to ignore that element of it, or like, how do you even bring that to a video game?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, so I don't know, and
that would be awesome.
But it would be awesome, but it's just such an important part of its character as well, and so I don't really know how they would do it, but you know, that would be cool to do.
I mean, to me, you know, in terms of those ideas, Fantastic Four are interesting to me because I think you make a good point about whatever the storytelling limitation they've had with making movies. With the Fantastic Four, you don't have with a video game.
Right.
With a video game, you can kind of do anything.
Yeah. I mean, so the stories in these games are you know, usually over like 20 hours.
Yeah, and like the Fantastic Four, they go into space a lot. Like, you could do a lot with the Fantastic Four. So that's intriguing, especially when you talk about multiplayer. I think about the Iron Man game possibly being something that would really make a lot of sense. We've seen like how effective Arkham and the Spider-Man games have been with gadgets and using multiple elements of their costumes to help them in combat. I mean, Iron Man, imagine the stuff you can do in combat with someone like Iron Man and his gadgets and his costumes, the different skins you could have. You could have him have a million different suits. I mean, an Iron Man solo game would be crazy. And I think that would be something that would make sense. So that's one I really like. I know it's kind of cheating, but even a Miles Morales game, if they centered it around him the next time around, that could be interesting because he has different powers, different characters maybe would be involved. So I don't know what you feel about any of those.
The Miles Morales game, I think, is a good idea. You know, of course, coming after, we recently saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, so which that was a spectacular Miles Morales-centered story. So I definitely think that you know, a video game surrounding Miles Morales could be very successful as well. And I was actually thinking about an Iron Man game earlier. I don't know why I kind of forgot about it, but Iron Man is definitely one of the people that I think would be successful as well. Even seeing what you're able to do in the Spider-Man game that recently came out with the different skins, and how they each kind of have their own special ability, you could do something like that with Iron Man, and it'd basically be the same thing. Though some people could say you kind of copied it from Spider-Man or whatever, but with Iron Man, I think you could just take it a step further, and just have them have completely different.
And I
suits.
think it would be even more like natural. Like,
Right.
like Tony
Exactly.
carries around maybe dozens of, if not hundreds of suits.
Yeah.
So, like, Spider-Man is not running around the city normally with, like, changing suits the way he does. Obviously, we are able to do in Spider-Man PS4. But Iron Man, he does. Like, he does have suits to go when he's on the road, or he will change suits to fit the situation, and how you'd have to maybe think about as a player what situation you're going in and what suit makes sense. I mean, that would also bring an element of thinking into the game that could also be really cool.
Right.
And I thought also one thing we haven't really had for our superhero games is one centered around a woman. So I think of maybe a Wonder Woman game being something that could be really cool. And we always keep saying, what about Superman? What about Superman? Well, maybe what if you did a Wonder Woman game? She's also a character that uses different weapons. So you can use the lasso, you can use the sword, you can use the shield. And, she has a lot of the similar abilities to Superman when it comes to flight and strength. I would like to see a game centered around her or Captain Marvel, perhaps. Because Captain Marvel, again, you talk about adventures, taking you into space. That could be really cool, too. There are a lot of characters that I think they could explore with those kind of Insomniac, Rocksteady type of games that I'd be intrigued by. I know I've done mostly Marvel, but I think for DC, Wonder Woman would be cool.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I also think Green Arrow would be really fun as well. It could be similar to Batman, but you could have more arrow-based gameplay, which could be extremely fun.
And this is cheating a little bit because they've done him multiple times, but they still haven't done a great Wolverine game. And I feel like we should have been got a great Wolverine game. The storylines are endless with what you could do in terms of where you want to go. The combat could be really cool. You make it, TV, you make it rated M for mature, and then you could really get in some really awesome stuff. And I think that it's surprising that they haven't been able to get him right. You would think for a solo video game, an action game, he would be tremendous.
Yeah, you would think so. And I think a lot of games now kind of have the type of story that would fit him well.
Yeah.
We have a lot of, say for example, zombie games and games like that where people are kind of on the run, alone, out in the middle of nowhere, it seems. And Logan tends to be in that situation a lot.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you can have those kinds of games, but just have it with Wolverine.
Exactly.
And I think that could be really fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that they could go. I really hope that one of these game developers may be looking at this channel and to come up with a great idea, because I would love to play any of the games we just mentioned starring one of those characters.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's a good place to wrap this video. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you think should be the next major headlining superhero for the next big video game? Give a comment, like this video, of course, subscribe to our channel, New Generation Media, and also check out our podcast network, New Generation Podcast Network, where you can listen to the New Generation Hero Talk podcast every week, where we talk about the latest news in superhero movies and television. But that does it for now. This is Shamari. I'm EJ. Peace.